In all of underground hip-hop, there's a few records that have been released over the years that feel like the building blocks of what the underground is all about. One of these albums is The Cold Vein by Cannibal. This album came out in the golden age of the underground, as one of the legacy-defining releases of the independent label Def Jux. 25 years later, when I close my eyes and think of underground hip-hop, this is the sound that I still hear. The two Cannibal MCs, Vord Omega and Vast Air, are a shining example of how much talent can be found beneath what you hear on the radio. They each bring a rawness that comes to them naturally as New York MCs, but they approach each song with an eagerness to find a sound that is unheard of. They are aggressively abstract, bringing an avant-hardness to every word they spit on the record. This album was produced by LP, an artist who is synonymous with indie hip-hop, and has been on the boards of some of the most cutting-edge rap albums to ever hit the underground. Coming off of his group work with Company Flow, and having started his own label, El Producto chose Cannibal Ox as the first piece of art he wanted to be a part of. Vord Omega and Vast Air were founders of the New York City-based crew called the Addams Family, and they got to know LP after opening for Company Flow in the 90s. Once they decided to make a record together as Cannibal Ox, LP knew he wanted to make an album that sounded like nothing that he had ever made before, but also nothing that anyone in hip-hop had heard before. The Cold Vein was released in May of 2001, right as a shift was happening in hip-hop. Labels like Raucous Records and Def Jux were on the forefront of putting out quality, lyric-first hip-hop that would be an alternative to the glossier mainstream sound. LP's production sounds like it's from another world. It's atmospheric and immersive, with a sterile rawness that feels both robotic and guttural. Vord Omega and Vast Air are the perfect two MCs to take this production and make it into something even more amazing. They are so locked in on this project with complete chemistry and trust of each other. Hearing them rap sounds almost like they have their own language with each other, bouncing back and forth like a new age cutting edge Run DMC. Their music feels like the future, while grounding it in the tradition of classic hip hop from the culture's early days, bridging the gap through the generations to create something that is timeless. Even the name of this album itself is a play on Curtis Blow's OG rap hit, The Breaks, just with a new age spin to it. In a 2003 interview with Stylus magazine, Vast Air explained the album's title, saying, "The Cold Vein is a metaphor that we came up with for adversity. Whenever shit gets dark, when Luke lost his arm when he was hanging on to that little thing, he was in the cold vein there. When the light bill is due, and Christmas is due too, that's the cold vein. Anything that's an obstacle for a problem, especially survival, that's the cold vein." Vast Air and Vord Omega's styles are the perfect 1-2, with Vast's more upfront and in-your-face, aggressive punchlines, and Vordel more in the cut as the complex poet of the duo. They lived with LP for a year while making this album, taking their time to create new sounds and scenes, and the result is some raw New York magic. The album opens with the duo going back and forth on the song Iron Galaxy, describing their world to the listener, vividly depicting it as a melding between machine and mind, which is exactly how their rap feels. Their words are aggressive but abstract, cutting but cursive, stated as fact with every bar stamped down with authority, but with so much imagery to piece together behind every word. And that continues throughout the entire album. A quarter century later, and it still sounds like nothing I've heard since. It's not only ahead of its time, but it's out of its time. Like it comes from a parallel universe where New York hip-hop evolved at a faster rate than it did here. In the year 2026, we are living in a time with a deep, rich landscape of underground hip-hop, and much of it can be traced back directly to this album. From the Armand Hammers to the Fatboy Sharifs, to so many of the most innovative albums of today. The Cold Vein is patient zero for so much dope shit that has come out of the underground. There's many albums that have sold more than this, or maybe more recognizable to people these days, but make no mistake, The Cold Vein is one of the most important albums in hip-hop history, and its impact will be felt forever. Thank you for watching, everybody. I've been wanting to do more videos breaking down the influence and artistry of some classic albums, so let me know down in the comments what other albums do you want to see me make a video on. As always, I want to give a big shout out to my patrons. Couldn't do any of this without them. Head over to patreon.com/DefGoldblum and join the tribe tier if you want to support and get a bunch of extra stuff from me along the way. How are you guys feeling about the Cold Vein on its 25th year anniversary? This is an album that just keeps getting better for me every year I go back to it. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it as well. Coming up next, I have a video on Boots Riley, so be on the lookout for that, because I have a lot more headed your way. So stay tuned, stay safe, and stay def. Thank you for watching.